Bangladesh recently celebrated 50 years. That's just the beginning.
We should create something that where the whole world would come to Bangladesh and see.
From business innovations,
very soon we're going to be competing with some of the best,
to creative passions.
Every day I wake up with a new dream, with a new design in my mind.
We'll meet the men and women who, inspired by tradition, already have their sights set on new frontiers. Bangladesh is home to one of the world's fastest growing economies. Labour-intensive manufacturing in sectors like ready-made garments fuels this success. But to carry that momentum forward, some experts say that innovation is key, an attitude that entrepreneurs across the country are adopting.
We developed these bags, which is totally biodegradable, environment friendly, no plastics inside, no microplastics. And
of products, from packaging materials to baskets to rugs. Khan how crafted into, but what can be derived from it.
Jute content is 70% cellulose. Jute's potential is that all over the world, you cannot find any crops like jute which contains 70% cellulose. At this moment, cellulose is very, very important.
Cellulose is the main component of plant fibres, and many experts believe it can potentially serve as an alternative to plastic. Khan has dedicated over a decade to exploring these eco-friendly properties, resulting in this bag. He calls it Sonali, which means golden in Bengali, a nod to the fibre from which it's made. Khan says his Sonali bag breaks down in about 6 months, as opposed to plastic bags, which can take at least 2 decades to biodegrade in the ocean.
My wish to protect the whole global from plastic pollution. If we can use these jute products, then we can reduce the plastic pollution.
Right now, Khan says his factory has the capacity to produce 1 ton of Sonali bags per day. He's still searching for financial backing, though, to take the bag commercial. But in the meantime, the pandemic inspired him to pivot, developing jute-based personal protective equipment and masks. And he believes this is only the beginning.
There is versatile use of jute. It is really God-gifted materials for Bangladeshi peoples.
Jute is one of Bangladesh's oldest industries, and it's not the only traditional trade that's experiencing a shake-up.
I'm working as a tea estate manager. I'm always studying tea, and it's my dream to try to create something new in it.
In Bangladesh, it's virtually impossible to see friends, start some work, or have a family meal without a cup of tea. The industry dates back to 1854 under British rule, and commercial production started here in the northeastern corner of the country called Sylhet.
The areas of Sylhet are hilly, and the weather conditions are appropriate for tea gardens. 92% tea production of total of Bangladesh comes from Sylhet. For that reason, Sylhet is called the tea capital of Bangladesh.
According to Nasser Uddin Khan, Sylhet is home to 136 tea gardens. He manages one here called Brindabon, and he says that it's a 102-year-old operation that's spread out over nearly 1,200 acres. Black tea is the most popular variety produced on the estate, but last year, Khan decided to experiment.
Besides black tea, I have made 7 kinds of tea. Among them, yellow tea is sold for the highest price, as it is very familiar and popular with the people. Nobody makes this kind of tea in Bangladesh.
Yellow tea originated in China. It's derived from the same plants as black or green tea, but the production is more labor-intensive because the leaves have to be wrapped for days at a time.
When I made this tea for the first time, I was researching more and more, doing it experimentally. Many people called me mad.
After months of experimenting, the hard work paid off. Khan says his yellow tea was the first to be produced in Bangladesh. In March 2021, it sold for about $96 a kilo. That's roughly 5 times the price of green tea that was sold at the same time.
I hope this yellow tea of Bangladesh will reach everyone around the world. Everyone will get the news. Then I will believe I can give something to Bangladesh's tea industry.
In terms of cultivating cutting-edge ideas, Bangladesh still has a long road ahead. According to the 2021 Global Innovation Index, an annual report from a United Nations agency which examines a country's capacity for innovation, Bangladesh ranks 116th out of 132. That position on the list has remained exactly the same for the past 3 years. But if entrepreneurs continue to experiment, that ranking could rise, paving the way for the country's economic future to be as prosperous as its past. Bangladesh's GDP grew nearly 7% annually between 2011 and 2019, according to the Asian Development Bank. The booming economy isn't just financially enriching the nation, it's also ushering in a new era of social change.
Our garden is located in the very northern tip of Bangladesh. It's an area where there wasn't a lot of agriculture and no tea at all. It was very barren, and when we first there, everyone said nothing can grow here.
Over the past 2 decades, Qazi Anis Ahmed's family converted the landscape into the Qazi and Qazi Tea Estate, the only USDA-certified organic tea garden in Bangladesh. He credits regenerative and organic agriculture for this transformation. Here, composting replaces chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and biogas helps power the estate.
With a lot of soil enrichment, we created the conditions where tea could be planted. It has turned into this tremendous journey of regenerative agriculture. And we have ended up actually creating an entire ecosystem.
Today, on these 3,500 acres, 7 different varieties of tea are grown. Ahmed says about a quarter of this tea is exported under a label called Teetulia, one of Bangladesh's most well-known international tea brands. But when the company formed in 2000, Ahmed says that the local community was the priority.
My father was already doing other business in that area. It used to be one of the poorest districts 20 years ago. And that's why we felt it was important to do something there that would create economic opportunities for the people who live there.
The business set out to achieve this by both employing locals at the tea garden and setting up a cooperative with neighbouring residents. The co-op lends cows to women like Selina Khatoon, who can sell dairy products and keep the profit. They do this in exchange for giving cow dung back to the garden, which is used to create organic fertiliser.
So far, I have taken 8 cows from the co-op. Some helped me earn a profit and buy lands.
In 2008, this cooperative started with just 25 women. By now, we have over 3,500 active members. So it has been a real life changer for them, but it has been a vital support for us to keep growing as an organic tea garden.
There's no doubt that Ahmed's tea estate has not only transformed the physical landscape, but also the surrounding community. Across the country, entire industries are having similar effects. The ready-made garment sector, for instance, has significantly benefited women. That's according to the World Bank.
We have played a huge role in empowering the women of our country, whereby they've been able to come out of their homes in the villages, whether they have education or not. We've taught them skills which have helped them to become independent.
Vidya Amrit Khan is one of the few women running a garment factory in Bangladesh. Her ties to the industry run deep. Her father is often heralded as a ready-made garment pioneer. Having established in 1977, the company responsible for the country's first export factory.
My father was a civil servant. He was a freedom fighter. He was always looking to find ways in which the people of our country could be employed and find a livelihood. We had a few nationalized industries. We didn't have much more than that.
In the 40 years since Khan's family helped set up the industry, over 4,600 garment factories have sprung up, employing about 4 million people. Most of these workers are women, but as of 2018, less than 1% of female employees in Bangladesh have managerial positions or higher, according to the International Labour Organization.
We are still a male-dominated economy. The son usually takes over, or the husband takes over, or the father runs the show. So I broke that mold.
Khan has been trying to pay it forward. Although the majority of managers at Desh are men, she says 28% are women, like Jana Rani Day, who leads a team of over 80 people. The ready-made garment industry's growth has helped increase work opportunities for women and reduce poverty. But with that growth, there were growing concerns about health and safety standards, especially after the 2013 collapse of the Rana Plaza factory, which housed several garment factories. The tragedy claimed over 1,100 lives and left more than 2,500 injured, the majority of whom were women.
When Rana Plaza took place, that was a tragedy, no doubt. But everybody came together, all the stakeholders, and we made all the corrections that needed to be done. We did the fire, the electrical, and of course the structural improvements.
Although the ready-made garment sector is often the path for women to formally enter the workforce, the industry still has a long road ahead in terms of achieving gender equality. But if the country hopes to see continued growth and progress, some experts say help from the private sector will be key.